temperature?
We don't have.
We don't have one. I told you. Have one.
Here we're baseball scores here. Harrison 2, Mountain Home nothing. Hardy 10, Mountain View 7. Well, that could be a football score. 0, 9 at Poplar Bluff, 0 at Branson, -1 in West Plains, and -22 in Watford City, North Dakota. We're not that far off from what it is in North Dakota, where my boy lives up there. Wow.
Now
What do you mean not that far off?
0 is 22 degrees difference.
That's a lot.
That's actual temperature, man.
Dude, what is your problem?
Zero's not
if
cold
they
enough.
0, they equal us. It equals
No.
cold.
Wonder what the wind chill is there, -100 or
Oh,
something?
gosh, I've got it on my
I don't
phone.
even want to know.
Yes, you do.
No.
Everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know. So we got to let everybody know. Pull it up here. Believe it or not, on KY, you can get Watford City, and they've got all the information in there. Watford City, North Dakota. Let's see, wind chill factor.
Feels like.
Right now, our wind chill's -12.
Yep.
-12. Let's see, Watford City, North Dakota. Well, they're at a -20. It feels like. Their
Right.
dew point is -26. That's how dry it is up there. Just cold. I mean,
Bitter cold.
let's see. What? Up on somebody got that on their phone.
See if I got
The
it.
court. We had that PSA we need to get on real quick before
Yeah,
we take
we're,
a break.
we're prepared.
Yeah.
We hadn't even looked at
I've got
radar.
the timer on
We
here.
hadn't even looked at radar, though, yet.
Well, I'll pull up the radar, and while you're putting that on the air, I'll pull this.
Was Judge Campbell and Circuit Court in Yellville is canceled for today.
Okay. Yep.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
all
the
I got.
circuit court. Oh, that must be the circuit court. And okay.
Yep.
All right, time for the radar. Hello. We're showing the activity in Texas, Louisiana, southern Arkansas, northwest Mississippi, the western half of Tennessee, and Kentucky. Most of Kentucky getting it. As you see it just kind of streaming along there.
What is he?
Swath. A
There
swath.
you go.
Yeah.
Swath.
A swath of snow in the southeast part of the state.
That is correct.
Let's take a look at the Nashville, Tennessee radar. It looks like most of the highways in northern Arkansas are clear. And it looks like they've got a pretty good little round coming through there on I-24. I know this morning, what do you bet? Because he's going
Bet
to be
you're right.
right about in there, Rutherford County. Take a look at that Little Rock stop real quick so we can see southeast Arkansas. Just southeast of Pine Bluff, north of El Dorado. Just, folks, it's January. A little bit of precipitation is going to hit the roads. It is what it is, you know. That's how it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Most of the
Gonna
country
be
free of
cold day.
precip other than California, Nevada, Washington, and Oregon. And then country. Most of the schools are closed, and they're utilizing, Dr. Long from Mountain Public Schools was here on the 5th, I believe it was, and was talking about, what do they call them? The
AIM.
AIM Day. Second day of AMI days.
Yeah.
Harrison's implemented it too. And so I think it's a good program.
I think it's a good thing. It took a little bit to reading through everything so you knew what all steps to do, because you do a project in every class.
Yeah.
So then trying to find it on the sheet. But once you got to figure it out, it'll be a good thing.
Good.
But the smart kids, I understand, they went ahead and completed all.
All they do is
So
hit
that-
send.
Well, it's done, so they can go enjoy the snow days.
The smart kids.
And
Yeah.
they just turn them in after the snow days. Yeah.
Right. But no, if you don't do it, it's the absence. So
Yeah. Well,
you have to do
it's a
it.
good program, and everybody has the
And
chance
enough
to,
people have to participate for them to consider that a school day.
Yeah.
So it needs to be done.
Yep.
Yep.
Sure does.
I think I'm going to go ahead and take a break, and real quick I'm going to explain, of course, in inclement weather, sometimes the guests can make it and sometimes they can't. Bitter cold, snow and ice, so we told the guests we're just going to reschedule. And so Jennifer Porter stopped by from Serenity. So we're going to go ahead and take an earlier break, and so we're going to, after the break, we'll come up with Serenity, Jennifer Porter, and who was with Jennifer that day? Remember? I don't remember. Well, it'll be on the screen. Melinda, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Scooter takes the break, and the next 3 sections will be previously recorded, and hope you enjoy those.
Just cover up the pain, and you've tried dieting to help lose weight. Before you try something drastic like surgery to get rid of the numbness and tingling. Hi, I'm Dr. Charles Osgood, and at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we heal the whole person the natural way.
At Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we take a hands-on approach to chiropractic care, massage. Our 20 years of service has led to successful results.
When I come in to see Dr. Osgood, sometimes after one adjustment, I have immediate relief. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 adjustments.
Because it really works and keeps me pain-free.
Mountain Home Family Chiropractic supports the community by donating to Mountain Home Food Basket and the Lions Club. Request an appointment with us today at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic. Excellence for your body and frame alignment.
Coming in 2018 via DeerHunterFan.com TV and Steadyform. This 10,000 square foot indoor climate controlled archery range will feature 3D targets, 3D pop-up, and state-of-the-art video shooting. DHF Archery Range will be open to the public and available for all ages. It's a great facility for hunters and archers alike and located in the center of the Ozarks in beautiful Bull Shoals, Arkansas. That's DHF Archery Range coming in 2018. Keep on the lookout for more details and their grand opening announcement soon.
Hello, I'm Charles Ferguson. Here at Mountain View Chevrolet, we still do business the old-fashioned, and we have a good inventory of new Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs from large to small. Our service department has all GM certified technicians, and our friendly salespeople are ready and eager to fit a car truck to your needs in a price range you can afford. Cars and trucks, program and new car trade-ins to choose from, so come see us at Mountain View Chevrolet.
If you want the best breakfast or lunch in the Twin Lakes area, then you've got to come to the Old Time Restaurant. Voted the best breakfast. Old Time Restaurant not only gives you the Southern hospitality right when you walk in the door, they also offer scrumptious breakfast options to curb that early morning appetite. Salad, or a daily special. If a sweet tooth is your guilty pleasure, you can't go wrong with the Pie Lady cooking out over 30 different types of pies. That's the Old Time Restaurant located on the square in Mountain Home. More than just propane, Reeves Propane provides you full sink and piping installation. We are your dependable choice, offering the very best in personal service with on-time deliveries and competitive prices. Reeves Propane also sells and installs tankless water heaters and appliances and can even convert your gas cook stove to liquid propane. So no need to fuss and cuss at Reeves Propane. We greatly appreciate your business and God bless.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detail services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care Mountain Home today. This makes you feel good.
Why would I?
And we are back, and we want to welcome, I'm going to let Jerry do the introduction. You set all of this up. We're enjoying Brewed Awakening coffee. You like that?
I do. I always love Brewed Awakening in the morning.
Yeah. You like it with macaroni and cheese?
Well, we were talking about
There's
that.
an inside joke there.
Yeah,
we had a really great
inside
joke conversation.
Somebody at the old time, some corporate
Punt.
Yeah. So if y'all want mac and cheese back on the menu at the old time, call Scooter. Let's get this going.
I thought Scooter agreed to try it.
I think your mic went out of it.
Yeah, I think your mic quit there, Jerry. I don't know what happened.
Why don't you introduce?
We have Jennifer Porter and Melinda Fulton from Serenity, Inc. And Serenity does just a lot of good things for the community. God bless you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Jerry. Thank you all for having us. You guys are so generous with nonprofits like ourselves having us on your show.
And for those that don't know, a little background on Serenity. Kind of got in place to help battered women and men.
Sure. Actually, Serenity was born in 1988. We'll say born because it's been reincarnated many times. In a home. It's a two-story house over there, and started out with a small board and a lot of local donations. And the whole purpose was to offer shelter initially. That was much needed at that time, and it's grown into in 2015 new building. So we've gone through a lot of changes since 1988 to today. But the number one thing that we do is help women who are victims of domestic violence, and men and children.
And where does it come from? Is it alcohol and drugs, or is it passed on, or where does it come from?
Most of those answers are somewhat correct. Melinda can chime in on that and has a deeper view. Melinda Fulton is our program coordinator, and she's also
I think that many times what we see is certainly cyclical and certainly generational, like so many. Any faction across the spectrum of socioeconomic but boundaries. We see times that we have children who have witnessed domestic violence. Over 3 million children a year in this country are home being battered domestically. And so that's a lot of children. We have, of course, statistics. There are 175,000 days per year that are missed in employment due to domestic violence.
And that's something that isn't always quantified when people talk about domestic violence. When we're talking with companies at Serenity through donations or sponsorships, it's something we like to remind them, because domestic violence, although it takes a human toll and an emotional toll, it also takes a financial toll on businesses. Mm-hmm. When she talks about days missed of work, think about that as an employer. If you have someone who's constantly missing, well, you're going to have to hire someone new. And every time that happens, more than likely that's what's going to have to happen. Plus, you're going to have to fill in that position. So by keeping a happier, healthier population in your workplace, everyone benefits.
I'm looking right here, a friend of mine on Facebook, affiliated with Arkansas man charged in wife's killing. She changed the channel, police say. Little Rock man draws 25 years for killing girlfriend during argument about tacos.
Just stupid stuff. I don't understand. What drives
Where's the anger?
people?
I mean, you change the channel?
We have to look at, you get those little snippets, right? But there's always some sort of undercurrent that occurs prior to that. And there's so many, in terms of who's going to be a batterer or who's going to be someone who unintentionally kills someone. Sometimes these things come to fruition spontaneously, but usually there's some sort of anger history, mental illness. Quite often those things go, under the table. People don't notice them, they don't see them. People tend to function publicly very normally.
And in direct response, actually, to your previous question, there are substances. But it's not just about, because, of the alcoholism. Maybe the alcoholism or the drug abuse is answer of that person who has a mental illness and they're self-medicating.
Right.
And
that's a problem too, self-medicating.
Yes, always. And so when they engage in that behavior of self-medicating or utilizing substances, where the chances of them engaging in violent behavior, of course, increases, because they don't have more control over their emotions.
Right.
They're
have less control.
It's exactly the opposite. What they're doing, even less control. So substances certainly play a part. But it's difficult. at the shelter. Certainly one of our rules is that we don't, allow you're staying at the shelter. However, clearly, just because someone makes the difficult decision to come to shelter,
Right.
when they walk in the door, that addiction doesn't roll off their back. So there has to be, and frankly, residents also have to engage in some pretty brutal honesty sometimes about what some of their layers of things that are going on, so that we can get the most during that time that we have them there. They're safe. If their children are with them, their children are safe. It sets up a great learning environment for them.
Under the misidea that we have a time limit that you can stay in the shelter. We do not have a time or day limit. We want women to stay until they're ready to go. And men, families, we actually have a room just for men with families and men. A lot of people don't think that men are battered. They're not battered in the same way generally. Women tend not to be quite as physically violent. Mm-hmm. However, we can be very emotionally detrimental to a spouse or to a lover. First, depending on how you feel about it, how you handle those kinds of treatments. So we don't have a time period. Women stay and men stay, families stay, until they're ready to go, until they're healthy and whole enough and feel like they can move on to some safe environment.
And I can see where when somebody comes to you all, they have nothing left in this world.
Yes.
They have to be at the absolute bottom as you can go. And that does take a lot of psyche or
Sure.
whatever you want to call it to
Therapeutic
start building them
conversations.
up.
Sure.
There you go.
And we have, I think that another misnomer in the public is that the shelter, everything's going to be so much better. They must feel so relieved. They must be so grateful. And the reality is that sometimes when they get to the shelter is when some of the very most critical emotional things can happen, because they 4 kids and they're in the shelter 45 minutes and they're looking around and they're like, wait a minute, I'm not in charge of these kids. I mean, that's, the abuser, he's the one that always tells us these kids to mind and behave, and we see very, very frequently, we see children acting out then behaviors of the abuser. And it's kind of like we were visiting earlier, and those kids about the abuse they witnessed, they may hate that abuse. However, it's also what they've seen be effective. And so if that's what you see be effective, we're human beings. We do what we know.
Right.
And it's a very difficult time when someone initially comes into the shelter. And like Jennifer said, we don't. However, I think that one thing that Serenity has evolved around to at this point is that we are program heavy. That it's not 3 hots and a cot.
Right.
We really want people to be working a program, doing that support, the emotional support, the therapeutic support, the parenting support. And sadly, they've forgotten that. They've forgotten how good of a person they can be.
So that's a self-esteem issue.
Absolutely. Self-esteem is...
Sure. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they started out having a self-esteem issue. I mean, they could have, and that may be why they engaged in the relationship that they engaged in. They needed something. They were conditioned by either parents or friends throughout their lifetime. Definitely abuse does create a bigger self-esteem issue if you didn't already have one. And it creates a deeper problem.
So let's say you've got a young woman, 35, 36, in the shelter, 2, 3 kids. She's at ground. Nowhere to go but up. How do you boost that self-esteem? That there's a lot of self-respect, I think, that would have to be reestablished.
Sure.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that I was referring to our programming. You know, that's one of the things that we really try to do through the mini groups that we offer. Also offer groups for the community members as well. But in shelter, we have a goals group. I mean, if you can imagine, if you've been completely discouraged from the telephone to call the school for any reason, how do you sit down and go about making goals for yourself for the next 30 days and 60 days? You know, I mean, things. And so those are some of the things that we offer, the goals group, the support groups, and we're also in 2018 so thrilled to say that we are adding to that programming, and we are getting ready to start a journaling group and a self-esteem group. Then and she focuses on post-traumatic stress disorder. And all of those things, you know, we may face them 30, 45 minutes at a time. They have the ability to go, okay, I can see this now. Okay, I have a path. And I may need some help staying on that path, but I now have some. Prior to that, their focus may have just been knowing what you have to have done by a certain time so you don't get in trouble when somebody gets home from work or when they get back from the liquor store, or, you know.
About it because, you know, you think about it, women, and that is a category by itself, but the other issues they have to deal with because they're bringing more to the table. Like you said, they're involved. Kids that are involved. There's just so many factors that you've got to look in every direction. Self-esteem, confidence. You know, they can't just focus on one. They've got to have enough programs to handle.
But you know what I'm thinking about,
array
Scooter?
Of things.
And a lot of people don't disorder either.
Yeah.
It's not something that people assume with being a victim of domestic violence. It's something that people talk about if you're a victim of a violent crime, like you were raped, or someone who was in the military who dealt with.
You can come in just civilian life.
Absolutely,
Really?
absolutely. In fact, it's one of those hang-on things. It's not something that goes away, and I think that's why the work of Melinda and the other, and we see that sometimes in people that don't come to us, you know, as victims, but just come by to visit with us, and they'll talk about it, and that's something they'll actually mention, that they're still recovering from that portion of their feelings.
I got an idea, and I don't want to hit you with it yet because I want the element of surprise to be a surprise, so we can jump into this.
Be scared. Be very,
scared.
very
I'm already scared.
During the break, we're going to talk more about macaroni and cheese.
That's right.
Scooter, take us.
Thank you.
Why would I recommend Hospice of the Ozarks? Because I know the people that work there, I know their hearts, and I know to help people with the suffering and the anxiety and the things that can come with either terminal diagnosis or a terminal condition. We want them to have a peace of heart and to have a comfort and to know that someone's there to help them the time that they have.
Jim Brown Company keeps you cool when it's hot and warm when it's not. A trusted name in the mountain home community, Jim Brown Company provides timely heating and cooling installations. Technicians incorporate new technology on every job to provide you with the most advanced services. At our metal fabrication shop, we handle projects big and small. We've created everything from commercial ducts to custom design.
To my friends and neighbors, the reason being they have high-tech equipment. Their service techs are well qualified for the job that they do, and they also send me a report after all the work is done, so I know exactly what my unit's doing.
By visiting our showroom products. We'll educate you on your options and help you decide on the right solution. For total comfort at your home or business, choose Jim Brown Company. Quality service with a family name since 1964.
Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
And we are back, and we're visiting with Jennifer and Melinda from Serenity. Back late August, early September of 17, I recorded a domestic violence PSA, and when we up Scooter, so we can play that back.
I'm getting it right now. Let me scroll down to it here.
Okay.
You know, Melinda's never heard it.
Are we getting it? Hey, you, scumbag. Yeah, you, dude. You know who you are. So you think you're a big man by getting drunk and slugging your wife in the face? Why should we have to have shelters for abused women when we have help available? Man, you're a damn wimp. Grow up. Got a problem with alcohol? Get help. Doing drugs? Get help. There's a silent voice out there that can put you to shame. A woman with a broken jaw and a black eye is not a reflection of your manhood. It shows you're broken mentally. Get child or a teenage girl, get help. Stop it now. Domestic violence is rampant in Arkansas. We, the citizens, are a silent voice. You will never hear us, but the authorities will. You've been warned. Citizen and know of domestic violence going on and do nothing, you're as guilty as the one committing the violence. Do something now.
I get goosebumps every time I hear that.
You like that?
Yes.
Yes, very much. I did that, and I listened to it. I just thought it was amazing that you had the fortitude to do that, because we've talked a lot about this at the shelter and quite often with other board members. Thing, because if your friend is committing domestic violence, you don't want to tell anybody about it. Now we would, of course, but there are a lot of people who feel like that. It's like no one wants to talk about it.
Two different girls sitting in that chair, and I'm not going to name names. I thought, what? You know, my question is,
I just thought you were incredibly brave to make that.
Well, there was 3 death threats over that after it ran on radio.
I remember.
Thank you.
Jerry and I. He shared the of interviews that he had with people who called and complained about it, and one of them was a woman, and she rattled on for quite some time, and her discussion reminded me of someone who perhaps had someone in their family that maybe was offended because she didn't want to talk about it. That was kind of my take on it.
Well, now my question is, and this is going to be a very hard question to ask without getting down to the nitty-gritty, but could it be guys that were abused as children, they become adult, say they got a girl pregnant, they've got a child, they may not even be married, but he's the dominating factor over her, scaring her into make him look like a big man. You know what I'm trying to say here? He have been degraded as a child to the point where he's trying to degrade her to bring himself up.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You see where I'm coming with this?
Absolutely. And parenting, I can't talk enough about parenting, and aside from domestic violence, I'm really passionate about and this is just my perspective, and anyone can tell me I'm wrong. I think that a lot of that starts with your childhood. A lot of that starts with your parenting. If your parents engage in any kind of drug abuse or alcohol abuse, beat their children to the point that it's, not, I'm not talking about like a spanking. I'm talking
Right.
about injuring your child. That child is more prone to injure others. There are so many stats that show that how much on a child based on what kind of a parent you are. Everything that they see, everything that they hear, everything that you do to them or with them is meaningful as adults. And I can't say enough about that.
And I think too, I mean, every is our circumstances.
Right.
I mean, you don't pick that up from a cootie at school. Okay.
Right.
I mean, you're doing what I said earlier. You are exhibiting behaviors that you have seen be effective in your family, even if you didn't like it. They went, but that's what got supper on the table at 5 o'clock. And the other thing is that I think that, it's important to know that 6 men who abuse women will also abuse children. And those kind of statistics are huge because
That's
what
too
we
high of a
hear
stat.
day in and day out at the shelter is women who say, kids from their daddy. Their daddy loves them. He's a good man.
Right.
And
They do
it's
hear that.
so difficult because you have to temper your response, and yet think about right now, think about what you're saying a good man is. A good man is somebody who got busy with you physically enough that you were able to file an order of protection that says y'all can't be. You know what I mean?
What I don't understand, they got a broken jaw, 2 black eyes, and a bloody nose. He's a good man,
But I
don't understand.
I think they're under, and I'm not the expert that Melinda is, but I think they're under pressure from others to, well, because they hurt me, that doesn't mean that they're going to hurt my children. They provide for them. They're a good person. I think they're under like societal pressure to behave like that.
And I
really
think,
do.
too, you have to consider the things that abusers tell their victims.
Oh, yeah.
They tell their victims that this is their victims. There are plenty of different circumstances where there's domestic violence. There may be domestic violence in a Christian home where the man who is the head of the family for you. Now, like it. And you're going to do it my way because that's the way it's supposed to be.
But then a lot of the kids will turn to rebellion on something like that too.
True that.
I've seen that happen. Out of the home, they don't want a part of the so-called Christian environment if that was the example.
That's
Right.
exactly right. But then the
And
irony
that's sad
is,
because
And
it
that could
takes
be
a
a
good
decline
thing
in our
and turns
church
it into
attendance
ugly.
nowadays.
Right.
and the irony to that is, so it into that spectrum, and they start using substances with their friends, and they get a girlfriend, and I do dating violence presentations for junior high and high school, and a girl texted me 20 times last night, he loves me. I'm like, okay, that is not love.
Yeah, that's
You know,
obsession.
He wants me to take a picture and show him where I'm at. Okay. About control. That is not about, hey, hon, get a party shot for me. You know what I'm saying? And it's the way that abusers and victims, so directly, we have a high school male who's involved in a relationship with a high school female. And in his home, he has seen violence and control and those things be effective.
Right.
So when she says, Saturday in Springfield, then he's wanting to know, well, why isn't he invited along? So they must be going to do something that he's not supposed to be seeing. And then all of those things that he may have.
Jealousy factor? Control
It's
factor?
a control and of course, which breaks down to, just like self-esteem, the lack of self-esteem. So it's a control issue. So he's feeling a lack of control, and so he's trying to exert that any way he can. So what time are you guys? Well, I'm going to text you. Are you going to call me? Well, call me when you guys stop and eat. You know, and those things can be framed to sound like
they care,
caring.
I think probably
really
initially they definitely sound like it early on in the relationship.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he wants to know where I am all the time. He must really care about me. And imagine later on the feelings probably change.
I saw him driving by my house again.
Right.
Can I see you after this class? Because it's, you know, it is concerning. And like I said, over 3 million
That's
kids.
stalking.
Yeah, exactly.
But the girl, especially a younger girl, like a teen, for them it's like it's attention, and so initially they're like, wow, you know, he's really interested in me.
Okay, you just brought up another subject: attention, the lack of attention from the parents. Maybe they are involved in drugs to the point where they're just no attention being paid to the children.
You know, like when being a teenager is a really hard thing. You have all these fresh hormones, and you have people telling you that different things are okay, and you have to make those decisions, and you're looking to fit in. So having someone act like they really care about you, to a certain extent, that fulfills that need to be cared for outside of your family circle. You do see it more often with girls who have low self-esteem. Maybe they're a little, for whatever reason, maybe they come from a poor family, so they don't dress well, so they always feel a little bit like an outsider. So they're usually more easily made victims of that kind of behavior.
You know, what you're talking, I'm going back thinking about my childhood. I grew up in southern Illinois in the 60s. If somebody were to offer me $1 million for my memory as a child, I'd say keep your money, because we had a blast. It was a giggle a minute. I mean, we had good schools, good family, good church, everything. I mean, it was fun.
Well, you were a very blessed man. Good for you.
I think back and I thought, dude.
Right.
And the thing is whatever interest us 3 boys had, Mom and Dad were always there helping us with that. I remember science fair rolled around in 7th grade, and at that time Radio Shack was real big in these do-it-yourself. Transistor radio in those days for science fair won first place in my division. I took it for great assault, but I had everything ready to go. My dad helped me fine-tune everything, but
right.
At the same time, he'd teach us how to work on the car, whether it be spark plugs, brakes, or an oil change. And I think that type of investment,
sure,
makes a difference.
And I'm just out of curiosity, did your mother work outside the home?
No, not
I think
until
so,
about
too.
1974, 75. By that time, I was
are there any statistics about that?
almost out of high school.
Indeed.
I'd be curious to see.
What was
Indeed,
that
I'm
question?
sure
I missed
there
that
are.
question.
I said, I asked her, because we had this, she's indeed question, she was going to say indeed. I asked her if there were any statistics in regard to what's happened since mothers aren't staying at home as frequently, and in terms of the health, the mental health, or the
do with the get home until 5, 6, or 7 o'clock, maybe even later.
Right.
And the
Right.
TV becomes a babysitter, and they know how to override the parental controls. There's no telling. I was watching the news on one of the networks, and they had ads for their upcoming shows.
Right.
There's not a family and medical, and I thought, that's not entertainment.
You know, you're so right on that. Media and social media have made such incredible, also obviously technology. I mean, we don't have to be talking about battered women to recognize that if you go to Walmart and you're trying to check out and the computer goes down, your whole life structure changes. It makes these huge impacts on our daily living and how we process things, how we view things, what our frame of reference is. When you talk about kids in high school, say, 1 in 5 high school age female has been confronted in a relationship that she's tried to end, that the abusive partner either threatens to harm her if the relationship ends. So 1 in 5. I mean, you're talking about 2 girls off
So now
every
the guilt
cheerleader
is on
squad.
her. Well, if I leave him,
You
he's
know.
going to commit suicide.
numbers.
So She has to stay in the relationship that she doesn't want.
Doesn't change. I can tell you from all of my years of being involved in therapy and community mental health and responding to when we would get calls on the hotline here. Somebody was at the hospital or in the jail making threats to harm themselves, and we would respond and go up there, and it would be it may be a man that he had some cut wounds on his arm because he can't abide the thought of his girlfriend leaving him, and that's a hard time to say. However, you still want to maintain a relationship through guilt.
Right. We need to take a break, visiting with Serenity. Scooter, take us to break. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, I'm Ricky with Arch Trash Pickup. Please give us a call. Arch Trash Service is veteran owned, and I've been in the local area resident for over 20 years. I'll provide a better service than the other guys, and even provide front door service trash pickup for those that aren't able to pick up almost anything, and even provide free recycling. I am Ricky with Arch Trash Pickup, and please give me a call for all your trash service needs.
With a large showroom of over 13,000 square feet, the Furniture Depot is your local choice for quality anyone can afford. They carry a great selection of catnapper recliners, power recliners with lumbar support, and lift chairs. Check out Furniture Depot's variety of living room and dining room sets in various styles and designs, and don't forget about their mattress gallery featuring beds. Family owned and operated, that's Furniture Depot, located in the Ozark Shopping Center in Mountain Home.
Life is too short to wear boring clothes. Welcome to Shabby to Chic Salon and Boutique, where we carry the latest trends and fashions. Enjoy. Feel beautiful while looking fabulous with a large range of fashions that fits anyone's sense of style. You're sure to discover something unique and new at every visit. Shabby to Chic also features 12 professional stylists, aesthetics by Amy J, a nail. Excite your style at Shabby to Chic Salon and Boutique in Mountain Home.
They said, I'm not ready to move. I'm not ready for such a change. I'm not ready to give up my independence. A lot of love and encouragement, they moved to the Good Samaritan Society. They said, I should have done it years ago.
Senior care and services from the Good Samaritan Society.
Welcome back to our program, visiting with Melinda and Jennifer from Serenity. What have we overlooked? We've been talking a lot about domestic violence, a lot of issues, a lot of characteristics, a lot of bad stuff.
We haven't discussed, and that's something that
Really?
That's something that we are currently working on. Melinda has a great program that she's created for elder abuse, and she likes to do it to civic groups, and not because they're necessarily abusers, but to kind of help show them how prevalent it is actually in the population, especially in Mountain Home. And I'm not saying elder abuse is more prevalent in Mountain Home, but we do have a lot more elderly folks, and we have a lot of their adult children caring for them, and that can be very stressful. So a big part of what she talks about is and what you can do to prevent it.
And, you know, also how that violence can play itself out. Again, you're talking about we recently had a situation where we had an elderly gal who absolutely would not talk about the broken wrist that she suffered at the hands of her son, who was her provider. I mean, that's bed, board, you know.
Right.
Me and the dog live there. And I think that when we missed, maybe to take that a little different direction, but as a society, I think that one of the things that we're missing many opportunities for, and that are these teaching, learning moments. And instead they become these filled casting, accusations at one another for why we can't get this right. But remember that men and women are socialized completely. And women are socialized to be the fixers. And so if you can't fix what's broken in your own little domicile, that's pretty sad. Because you're supposed to be able to fix that, what's going on with your kids, walk, all of those things.
Do you think historically it's always been women in terms of modern society? Or do you think that's progressed into...
In the family, yes. Okay. And then, that's another area where, and again, not to belabor the gender issue, but, men are socialized in this country to believe that if things are getting out of control and if I get a little bit louder, and then when that doesn't work, they're flummoxed. Right. The anger is still there. The problem is still unfolding right in front of their eyes. Chances are, in that type of situation, the male in that circumstance is going to reach out and touch someone. It's just what the chances are. And as the woman then in that relationship, if you can't come back and bring the house back together and make everything okay and smooth it up, you sit down to the evening meal or the Thanksgiving dinner, then you failed.
Right.
And so everybody's walking around with these big lumps of failure, and if they were having problems with communicating initially, think what they can do now. Because now they just have the tumors that are
and the expectations that are placed upon them.
And so as a society, I think that we are missing opportunities, and think about that. If communication to truly disclose your feelings and have that accepted by the other person, if those are the basic linchpins that may be, then look at our society now. Because if you look at a kid or a family sitting around the Thanksgiving table, everybody's on their phone or on their we're not making steps towards not really having to do it at all. I don't know if you saw about 2 weeks ago there was a big blast across Facebook, which I do tune into. It was about these essentially robot people that you could now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, it again, it tears down the building blocks that you need to increase your communication.
So we're dealing with the absence of mentality here.
A little bit of an absence
Skills,
of humanity.
for sure.
Absence of humanity.
Because we're getting down to like, you're a person in this situation. What steps do I take? How do I get out of this situation from here?
I do want to say something here. Our Serenity, our address 62 West, we are no longer a hidden shelter. It's something that I really wanted to be able to say today because it's so exciting for us.
Yeah.
And
we have a sign as well.
And we have a sign now. And there are I protection court every week, and every week I meet people who we haven't seen at Serenity,
right.
And they're in there filing their own order of protection, and they may not even realize that they can get at Serenity. You don't have to live in shelter to be able to come and be a part of our programming, to be able to receive services from us, and those services are everything from the emotional support groups. You need to get set up in your own place. Maybe there's a way we can help you with that. We always have pretty limited. We are, a not-for-profit agency, so we always have.
And you can use some help financially.
And we can always. Are always welcome.
And we are
And
available
that's
24 hours. A lot of people don't realize that. If you call after our normal work hours, you can transfer yourself to the hotline. Your option. So there's someone there 24/7 who can answer the phone, and if it's an emergency intake, that person's available to do that as well. And that does happen. We do get ladies who come in the middle of the night, and then we deal with their problems in the morning.
Sometimes they just want to call and talk.
Sure,
too.
sure.
And we're available for that as well.
Final 30 seconds.
We have a lot of men who visit our website, and I really think that a lot of them who visit the website do it because they're looking for help in this area for abusers. And I think that might make a difference as well.
A great website for people to remember is the Arkansas Coalition Against Domestic Violence, ACADV.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that is a wonderful website.
It is a great website. And also, even when you're on the computer, you can hit the red button and escape it like that.
Right.
Real quick, 97 out of 100 domestic violence claims are thrown out or not even prosecuted. We got to wrap it up. Thank you, Scooter.
See you tomorrow.
You've tried medications just cover up the pain, and you've tried dieting to help lose weight. Before you try something drastic like surgery to get rid of the numbness and tingling, why don't you try a better approach to health? Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we heal the whole person the natural way.
At Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we take a hands-on approach to chiropractic care, massage therapy, and nutritional counseling. Our 20 years of service.
When I come in to see Dr. Osgood, sometimes after one adjustment, I have immediate relief. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 adjustments.
I recommend Mountain Home Family Chiropractic because it really works.
Home Family Chiropractic supports the community by donating to Mountain Home Food Basket and the Lions Club. Request an appointment with us today at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic. Excellence for your body and frame alignment.
Coming into.
We're live.
And we're back live thanks to Jennifer and Melinda. 1 week ago today, that's why we changed clothes so fast.
That's it.
Mountain Public Schools AMI Day 2, Tuesday, January 16th. Students will complete their work labeled Day 2. And Jerry has a PSA.
Post 52 has a pancake breakfast this Saturday, 7:30 to 10. Adults are $6, kids are $3. And all proceeds go to help the Allie White American Legion Post 52. And they do a lot of for ROTC and a lot of programs around the community. So.
Real quick, Scooter, can we get that radar up?
I'm bringing up your screen, but yeah, go ahead.
Not much going on radar-wise around Mountain Home, but Pine Bluff, El Dorado, Greenville, Mississippi, of us, south and southeast. Cold temperatures today. Check on the elderly. Be sure the pets are taken care of. Too cold to be out. Right now we're at a temperature of about +1 in Mountain.
Yeah.
Hey, 1 degree.
So all up from here.
But it's supposed to get up to what, 15?
Yeah. 3 o'clock.
So that gives us 15 degrees. See?
We'll take it.
Spring's on its way, folks.
Oh, God, spring's not even close. What are you talking about?
Closer what it was a month ago.
He's over here. Man, I hope this is it for the season. Right.
Come on, February.
Bring it on.
Come on, March 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Come on.
Now, last year it snowed in March. I remember that very well.
Yeah.
You
Hurt
never
my
know.
peach tree.
I'm a cold weather wimp.
Still a little slick out there, so
Yeah,
everybody
be careful out there.
be careful getting around, and the roads are passable, pretty much passable. Some of the side roads are still.
And with that, we'll be back tomorrow. Hope you have a nice, warm day. See you then.
See you then.